I challenged myself to watch as much anime as I could for the next 28 days, but with a twist. I need to lose weight at the same time. Back in 2018, I was in much better health. I was 80 pounds less than I am now, I ate much better overall, and I just generally felt better physically. But then as I got really into immersion, especially spending all day watching anime back then, I started letting myself go and sacrificed my health under the guise of, well, it's for the sake of spending more time on Japanese. And this has gone on for far too long. So in this challenge, I will be proving to my 2018 self that I can watch as much anime as I want without having to sacrifice my health along the way. Before we get started, here's what my starting weight is: 322.4 pounds or 146.2 kilograms. As for the goal, losing 1 to 2 pounds a week seems to be a healthy speed, so since this challenge will be going on for 4 weeks, I will be aiming to lose 8 pounds or 3.6 kilograms. As for anime, just like in the manga challenge, I don't really have any specific goals, I just want to watch as much as I can get myself to. But if I had to put a number on it, I'd like to pass at least the 100 hours watched. If I do, I'll be happy with the results. With all of that out of the way, let's get started with this challenge. My first order of business is to watch some seasonal anime. If I'm going to be watching anime for a month, might as well catch up now, and then I'll just need to stay up to date with them. So that's what I started working on day one. But of course, it wouldn't be that simple.
Well, it's just about the end of day one, and as you can probably hear, I am sick once again. Hopefully I will not be sick on every single day one, but I've been sick the past few days, so hopefully I should be getting better soon. Having said that, watching anime with a blanket on while sick, having a bit of tea, and that's a whole mood. Also, it's been feeling very nostalgic, spending mostly all day watching anime, because when I started immersion back in 2018, it is basically all that I did, I just watch anime all day. I also did Anki back then, when I wasn't lazy. I was doing like 2 hours a day of RTK, the OGs remember. So yeah, it feels nostalgic because it's been many years since I've stopped actively watching anime. Not because I don't enjoy it anymore, just I guess I kind of burned myself out on it. But I've been feeling that craving recently, and this is a nice way to satisfy it. So let's get back to watching.
And to make things worse, on day 2 I actually felt even worse.
So it's day 2 and I am still sick, even worse than yesterday I would say, so that's not fun. I'm constantly battling with headaches, but when the headaches do subside I do try to watch anime because well, that's what I want to do anyways right now. So I haven't watched as much as yesterday, but I did watch quite a bit considering, and then I also had to go to groceries anyways. So I've been using this time to catch up on seasonals, and I've also started this new series called Chikyuu no Undou ni Tsuite. Basically it's a show that happened in the 1500s, I think. Maybe it's 15th century. It's back when they knew the Earth was round, but they thought the Earth was the center of the universe. So the main character, of course, believes that, until he meets this one suspicious looking guy and gets his views challenged, and then he starts eventually believing that the regular view is wrong and that the Earth is not the center of the universe, but that the Earth rotates around the sun. And it's basically about him trying to research this topic while evading the church because he doesn't want to get killed. Anyways, right from episode 1, I absolutely loved it. It gave me vibes similar to season 2 of Vinland Saga. I've seen a couple of people say online, and I would agree with that. Obviously it's not the same content wise, but the vibe is, it feels like more than anime, I guess. And then, as if I wasn't sold enough, episode 2 was just as good, so that was great. And then episode 3 hit, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but if you've watched it, it's when you're really sold on the series, if you weren't yet. I think you should give it a shot. It's a topic you don't see in anime normally, so that's pretty cool, just for that.
So all in all, the 7 seasonal anime that I decided to watch were Aono Hako, ReZero Season 3, Dandadan, One Piece, the Fishman Island remaster, Danmachi Season 5, Chi, which I just talked about, and Dragon Ball DAIMA. Each of them has been really enjoyable, so I think I made the right picks. After I caught up to all my seasonals, I wanted to attack my backlog of shows that I had previously started but never finished. So I finished Oshinoko Season 2, Sousou no Frieren, Konosuba Season 3, and Chainsaw Man. My favorite out of these is definitely Frieren, although all of them have been amazing, and somehow I managed to stay spoiler free from Chainsaw Man, so I was very happy about that in the last couple of episodes. I also watched a bit of Yuru Camp Season 3, although I didn't end up finishing it. It's not that I wasn't enjoying it, I absolutely was. It's just that I was planning to watch it as my relaxing anime before bed, just like Mushishi, but I just never ended up actually doing that. On Friday, the last day of the first week, I took the day off from work and got started on watching Genshiken. I had already watched this show in English back in the day, but I wanted to rewatch it in Japanese since it has to do with Japanese otaku culture. This was the day that I realized that I had a much harder time focusing on watching anime than I would have expected. At the time I thought it was just because of the crazy amount of sleep I had just gotten. I tend to always feel sluggish if I sleep too much, so I just left it at that. On Saturday I decided to pick up the second season of Made in Abyss, watching the entire season that day. I've already read the manga, so I knew what was going to happen, but it was still a great watch. Having said that, I noticed that I was still having trouble focusing as I struggled to watch anything else after that. I got a lot of sleep that night as well, almost 9 hours. So again, I just figured that I was sleeping too much and that my focus would return as my sleep stabilized now that I wasn't as sick. On Sunday, I decided to start the day off with a movie. I rarely watch movies, so I wanted to make sure that I watch a few of them during the challenge. So today's choice of a movie, Paprika.
What the fuck is going on? No, it was a fucking dream. The fucking guy getting like 3 different meals. Oh. I was not expecting a scene like that. Oh, no, through the face. Oh, he's ripped. Oh, no. You just fucking hate her. How does anyone think of this shit? Eh? That's the end? What the fuck did I just watch? I guess I enjoyed it.
After that, I watched some more anime, but I just could not focus.
It's day 9 now, and so far my biggest issue has been a lack of focus. I'm constantly feeling the need to pull out my phone or Alt Tab to check Twitter or Discord or, the list goes on. When I was new to immersion in 2018, I could just spend the whole day, 10 to 12 hours, watching anime with no issues with focus. And that's despite the fact that I didn't understand a single thing. So you would think I would be able to focus better now that I actually, understand what I'm watching. But that has not been my experience. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix this if I want to get more out of this and actually watch more.
So I decided to switch it up again and I started watching a very highly rated anime, Violet Evergarden. And man, what a good decision that was. This show is so good, every episode felt like a mini movie. And it definitely made me cry a few times. My only regret is that I wish I had started it in the morning, that way I could have watched it all in a day. But since I started it so late, it forced me to watch just a few episodes per day on work days. This seems like a good time to show how I separate my anime. I don't want to waste time having to constantly update what anime is on my phone or my tablet, or having to figure out where I last left off in the other device so I can make my way back to that point in the new device. So I tend to have one anime that I watch strictly on my phone, one anime that I watch strictly on my tablet, and then everything else I watch at home, at the computer, or on my TV. So for my phone anime, this is what I watch either in the bus or in the bathroom. I started out watching Konosuba, the Bakuen spin-off, and once I finished that, I started watching Shirobako, an anime about making anime. For my tablet anime, this is what I watch at work. I start working at 7:30 in the morning, but I normally get there at 7 because of the bus timings, so that's where I'd be watching my tablet anime. And of course also during lunchtime. Since I'd be mostly eating during that time, I figured that would be the perfect moment to be watching Dungeon Meshi. And honestly, yeah, that was a great choice. Can I also just say how much I love the first opening of this song? It's Bump of Chicken with a medieval twist to it. Count me in. Anyways, all of this to say, watching Violet Evergarden on weekdays sucked because I only got to watch a bit in the morning and a little bit in the evening after work. This did lead me to having the second best day of the challenge, watching 4 hours and 6 minutes on day 10 since I didn't want to stop watching. But really, this just speaks volumes to the quality of this show. I finished the main series on day 11, and that's when I realized the source of my focus problems.
Well, it's day 11, and while I was watching Violet Evergarden, it finally hit me. I had a lot more focus than usual, and I was feeling that pull quite a bit less. So while I do have a bit of a problem with lack of focus, I was watching shows that were not interesting enough to keep my attention. So I think it's time to look at my list of anime that I planned to watch during this challenge and change things up a bit. And when watching anything, if I notice that I cannot focus on the show, then chances are it's not interesting enough and it's time to drop it.
After finishing Violet Evergarden, I still had the movies to watch, but I don't really want to watch movies on a work day because I'd have to pause it and leave for the day and then continue it later and whatever, so I decided to postpone them until the weekend. In the meantime, I watched Goblin Slayer II.
Even Goblin Slayer can't escape the beach episodes.
The 4 episodes of Kaguya-sama's latest season, and all of my weekly seasonals. Following up on my realization from day 11, Friday night I took the time to drop every single anime that wasn't interesting me, and I took the time to add quite a few shows that I felt pretty confident would be good enough to keep my attention. And from this point onwards, I had much better focus while watching anime. So this does seem to have been the solution. On the weekend, I watched the 2 Violet Evergarden movies, and needless to say, I enjoyed them quite a lot. And then I finally went ahead and started the second part of 86. I really liked the first season of this one, and even though I was 3 years late, I was really excited to check this one out, and it did not disappoint. I've talked about this a lot over the years, especially on Twitter and Discord, but I really like the idea of getting a treadmill so that I can walk while doing immersion. I absolutely got this idea from the anime Kaze Yoku Fuiteiru, where this character called Prince practices running on a treadmill while reading manga. Sadly, I do not have a treadmill, but I thought, why not just walk in place? So I gave that a shot while watching 86, and well, it's definitely not the same, but I did manage to get to over 2,000 steps in a single episode. Eventually though, this happened.
Do you know what would be better? Much better. What happened to my hair?
Well, I guess I have a walking pad now, and all that it cost me was my hair and the continuity of this video. After finishing 86, I started watching Kusuriya no Hitorigoto. This has been on my radar for a long time due to the light novel being super popular. But now that there's an anime, I figured I'd give that one a try first. And my god, I absolutely fell in love with this one. At first it looks like a bit of a mystery of the week kind of show, but then eventually it grows into something bigger and the mysteries start being all interconnected together, and it was really good. It kind of gave me Hyoka vibes in a way. Obviously the content is very different, but the way the mysteries grew and got solved, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but the vibes were similar.
Well, there's not much of it, but we just got our first snow, so winter is coming. I've been watching Kusuriya no Hitorigoto, and needless to say, I've been able to focus no problem with this. And it's made me realize the anime that I'm able to focus on are the ones that elevate the source material. So, for example, I watched the first episode of Dagashi Kashi recently, and I liked the concept, so I wanted to keep watching it, but I couldn't focus. And it's not to say that the anime is bad. I don't think it's bad per se. It's just not a high enough quality, I guess, for to keep my attention. Something like Kusuriya no Hitorigoto or Violet Evergarden or something like Jujutsu Kaisen. These take source material that's generally already pretty good, and they just kind of elevate it because of how good it is. So again, for something like Dagashi Kashi, there's no point, like it's totally fine to try it, but then if it doesn't have the high quality that it needs to keep my attention, then instead of trying to force myself to keep watching it, I should just drop it. And if I think it's interesting enough to want to actually consume it, then I can just add the source material to my plan to read. So what I'm getting at is I just need to be pickier with what I watch, and just because I like the idea of a series doesn't mean I need to watch the anime. If it's not keeping my attention, I can just drop it and maybe consume the source material instead.
Basically, what I was trying to say is that I want to watch the shows that truly make use of being anime as a medium, and that take a good source material and truly elevate it, whereas if it doesn't, it probably won't keep my attention, so I might as well just drop it and read the manga instead. Okay, I know this doesn't look very appetizing, but this is what I've been eating almost every morning for breakfast. Overnight oats. There's oats, chia, flax, cinnamon, a spoonful of strawberry jam, some frozen strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries, a sliced up banana, some pumpkin and sunflower seeds, one singular Brazil nut, a bit of a strawberry fig balsamic glaze, and a few white chocolate chips that I had leftovers from something. This is so filling even for my usual bottomless pit. It's crazy.
Okay, now it's starting to actually pile up the snow. It's just a couple of days since the last cliffs, maybe 2 days.
Now that I've seemingly fixed my issues with focus, another issue seems to have cropped up. Well, it was way too windy when I recorded this, so I'm gonna spare your ears and summarize what I said. Basically, the past few days I had been struggling with watching anime, but this time it's not that I couldn't focus, but that I couldn't get myself to start. Once I got started, I was fine, but I just procrastinate on and on and on. But then, after checking my spreadsheet, I realized that sleep was probably the issue. For the first 2 weeks, I slept over 7 hours just about every day, even a few days over 8 hours. But in the second half of the third week, I had a few days in a row in the 6-hour range. And so the reason why I was suddenly procrastinating a lot was just sleep deprivation. And then in the next clip, I just said that, yeah, I had a good night's sleep, and sure enough, I suddenly didn't have any procrastination issues. This is the first time that I actually see such a clear example of what effects sleep deprivation can have, on top of just knowing how dangerous it is in the long run. So this is something I will need to make a top priority in the future if I want to be at my best. It is now day 21, so basically I have 8 days left in the challenge, including today. And so I thought I would do a little bit of a mini challenge. I'm gonna try to watch the entirety of the Monogatari series in the next 8 days. Having said that, I don't think it's actually possible for me to succeed, since there are 125 episodes and 3 movies, but still I want to see just how far I can make it. This is, of course, assuming that I do end up liking the series, otherwise I won't force myself to stick with it. But there is one other thing that I will be watching during this time. One movie that I feel like I can't truly call myself an anime fan until I have watched it. So it is much overdue for me to watch Akira. But first, some Monogatari.
Now it really is winter. There's been another small snowstorm, so now it's piling up quite a bit. It's like 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Anyways, like I said, it's Sunday, so that means including today, I only have 6 days left. So far on Friday and Saturday, I've watched all 15 episodes of Bakemonogatari and the 3 Kizumonogatari movies. So now I'm on to Nisemonogatari. So far, really enjoying this. The movies were great. I should not have been eating breakfast during the start of the third movie. If you know, you know. Yeah, I'm glad I decided to do this mini challenge for the last week because I'm really enjoying it and I have been missing out. The reason I haven't watched Monogatari series so far isn't just because it hasn't happened. It's because I wanted to have my first experience with it be with the novels. But I came to the realization that if I just keep waiting till I read the novels, I'm never gonna get to it. So I might as well use this opportunity to watch the anime, especially since the anime is so good. Crunchy kind of snow today.
So far I've been really enjoying watching the Monogatari series, but in the last few days of the challenge, this happened.
So the past 2 days I haven't been feeling all too well. Not because I've been feeling sick, but because I've been sleeping like absolute shit. I'm talking like 5 hours, 15 kind of shit when I'm used to over 7 hours. So I haven't really had the motivation to do much. Yesterday wasn't as bad because it was the first night that I slept like shit. But today, oh man, I'm on my way to work now and I haven't watched a single minute of anime. Hopefully tonight I sleep well, because tomorrow is the last day. And I would hate to finish on 2 very bad days. Well, it's Friday and I still didn't sleep amazing, but I did sleep at least about 6 hours and a half, so I'm gonna try to make the most of this day and watch as much of Monogatari as I can. So right now, I'm in the second half of the second season, so I'm currently watching Oni Monogatari, and after that, I just have, I don't remember what it's called, but the last 6 episodes of the Monogatari second season. Koi Monogatari, that's what it was. Oni Monogatari and Koi Monogatari. And then I'll be done with the entirety of the second season. So if I can watch all those 10 episodes today, sure, I won't have finished the series, but I never expected myself to finish the whole series in just a week, so let's see how this goes.
And that's it. All 28 days have passed by, and that's the end of this challenge. Or is it?
So yesterday was the final day of the challenge, except I decided I'm gonna extend it. No, just by 1 day. I'm not gonna be extending it for a long period of time because I really want this to be under a month. You know, I'll spare you the details, but there's a couple of reasons why I decided to extend it. Just feel like watching more Monogatari. And there is one more reason why I am extending the challenge by 1 day, and that's because I completely forgot about watching Akira, so I feel like I really should watch it, considering all the anime I've watched, and not just in this challenge, but in general. I think I'm close to like 8,500 episodes of anime watched. Yeah, and I do just really want to watch it because I'm curious to know what it's about. Yeah, I'm gonna be watching that and watching as much Monogatari as I can for the rest of the day, and then for real, the challenge is gonna be over.
So yeah, I watched a bunch of the Monogatari series today. I watched Tsuki Monogatari, Koyomi Monogatari, and then the first 5 episodes of Owari Monogatari. So of course I'm not done at all with the final season, but I'm very happy that I even made it in the final season, let alone about halfway through it. And of course, this time I didn't forget about Akira and I took the time to watch it.
Oh, it's the famous bike. This is not meant to be funny, but the kid looks like an old person. That elevator kind of looks like Evangelion. I don't know which one came first. It's in 2019 and they're like, next year's is the Olympics. Did they already know in 1988? Or is this just a coincidence? Who are these old kids? Oh. Is that where the sound is from? I've heard that so much in Japanese TV. Oh, he's got the red cape now. Now I recognize him. Oh, it's not quite the same, but it makes me think of Psycho-Pass a bit, now that Akira has been revealed. Obviously this came first, not Psycho-Pass, but you know, that's what I watched first. Oh, the arm. What the fuck is that? Oh, that's intense. Damn. What a movie.
And with this, the challenge is now officially over for real this time. But how did I do? Well, across the 29 days of this challenge, I have watched a total of 118 hours and 37 minutes of anime. This includes 7 movies, which totaled to 11 hours, and the rest of the hours all came from 273 episodes. This means that on average, I watched 4 hours and 6 minutes of anime per day, or 9 episodes and a half and a quarter of a movie. And for added context, during this time I walked over 395,000 steps, slept an average of 7 hours and 10 minutes per night, and worked an 8-hour shift on 19 of the 29 days. I definitely could have done better if I hadn't been sick in the first week, or if I had solved the focus issue faster, or if I never had bad sleep, but honestly, this is a good realistic view of what an average guy with a full-time job who doesn't necessarily have his shit together all the time can do if he puts his mind to it. So despite all of this, even without counting the bonus day, I still had plenty more than my 100 hours goal, so I am very happy with this result. Now, that was the anime part of the challenge, but what about the weight loss? Well, if you remember, I started the challenge weighing in at 322.4 pounds, or 146.2 kilograms. Now, on the day after the challenge, my official weigh-in is 312.8 pounds or 141.9 kilograms. That means that in 4 weeks, I lost 9.6 pounds or 4.3 kilograms. My goal was to lose 8 pounds, so I have definitely reached it. It kinda doesn't feel like all that much because of just how much I have left to lose, but this was by all means a success and a great start to my weight loss journey. Well, that's it for this challenge. Honestly, I learned quite a bit about myself in this one, which I wasn't expecting at all. For one, everyone knows that sleep is important, but I truly came to understand what difference good sleep or sleep deprivation can have on my day-to-day life. It's literally like night and day. I can't believe I never noticed this before. Then I also learned more about my tastes and how they have changed. Back in 2018, when I was watching anime all day every day, I watched a lot of anime. But then, after 2 or 3 years of that, I honestly started to get bored of it, to the point that I have watched as many hours of anime in this 1 month challenge than I have in all of 2022, and a whole 40 hours more than in all of 2023. But thanks to this challenge, I have come to realize that no, I am not bored of anime. I just need to be pickier with what I watch. As an example, I'm a big Isekai fantasy fan. Back in the day, I could watch any of them and be entertained. Nowadays though, if I try to watch any and all the seasonal stuff that is served to me, well, of course I'm gonna think I'm bored of anime. But if I am more selective and pick only the best of the best, I still love watching anime. And believe me, despite having watched over 8,700 episodes of anime in Japanese, there are still a lot of 8, 9, 10 out of 10s that I have yet to watch, and a ton of the classics. And that's not even counting new shows that haven't come out yet. So thanks to what I have learned in this challenge, going forward, I will be watching an anime episode every morning when I eat breakfast. That way I don't have to bother having to put anime on my phone or tablet, but I still get to watch 365 episodes per year, which is quite a lot of episodes considering I'd only be watching while eating breakfast. Before I end this video, I will be giving myself a bit of homework. While I have been successful in losing some weight, I want to make sure that this doesn't happen only because I'm making a video, and that I keep at it in between challenges. I will be starting the next challenge on January 1st, so my homework is to make sure that when that day comes, I am still at 312.8 pounds. Well, it's fine if I've lost weight, of course, but my point is that I don't want to have gained weight by then. And I am putting this clip at the end of the video because now I can't chicken out of this and act like I never said it, because it's public on YouTube for anyone to see. Anyways though, that's it from me for today. I've been Patchat, and I will see you all next time.